Hey now, it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM alongside my broadcast colleague.
Hey, what's up? It's Eric Cornish with WKDQ. Thursday, time for the Enhancement Talent.
And by the way, I'm representing for you today.
Hey, thanks, man.
I like this shirt.
That's awesome. And we also we have pay-per-view time or special event time or whatever you want to call it these days.
Whatever you want to call it. I'm still always happy to watch a show like this. And this is a great example of the network being a real asset, because this is a show I would have no interest in watching probably if I didn't already have it paid for. Like even if you were like, hey, you want to go to the bar and watch this one? Oh man, I don't know. This one's going to be long, I feel like.
It definitely is a 1 or 2 match card, that's for sure. There's not a lot of build-up to a lot of these matches. But I think those pay-per-views are the ones that creep up and they surprise you.
It can only surprise me pleasantly.
Yeah, so anyway, Night of Champions, which, if you recall, it used to just be championship matches, and that's all it was. But
I think 1 year, or was it more than 1 year?
I don't know. It might have been 1 or 2, but now they've kind of gone away from that. It's just another pay-per-view at this point. So if we start on how everything's set up here, and I'm not totally confident that this is not going to be the first match, but Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins is listed at least here at the bottom of the card. I'm not positive that wouldn't be the first match because of different things that I think could happen later on in the night.
No, I don't think that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins will get things started, but we can start there because that's the first thing on our list.
It'll probably be one of the mid-card title matches, but let's start there as far as Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. I'm confused by this, and only because of what we saw Monday night.
Yeah, Raw was, I thought, a really weird show. I didn't particularly like it. I liked some things. I liked the halftime stuff with Cena and Lesnar and Heyman. I didn't like them at the beginning of the show, but they won me over in the middle. The rest of the show I thought was kind of garbage, and confusing is a better word than garbage, because why was the main event a match that's going to be on the pay-per-view 6 days later? I don't understand that whatsoever, but I don't see any way of Roman Reigns losing this match, at least not cleanly. My overwhelming thought, I think, is probably going to be what yours is, and it's just going to be some sort of Ambrose return special.
And that was my first thought, and the reason I was talking about that maybe being first in the night, because I can see Roman Reigns maybe going over clean if the Ambrose situation happens later in the night, which it could, but I think it's more likely that it will happen in this match, be some kind of distraction, and Roman Reigns wins.
You think that Ambrose may return at a different point?
Yes, and I'll get to that as we get along here. I think it's more likely that it will happen during this match. The more I look at things,
curious as to where you could see him falling,
but yes, I do think that Ambrose would return. Possibly distracting Seth Rollins, or maybe even causing a disqualification, perhaps. But I think more likely he'd cause the distraction. Roman Reigns gets the victory here.
So it's just some sort of murky ending, no clear winner, or if there's going to be one, it's going to be Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Secondly, we're looking at Chris Jericho versus Randy Orton.
Kind of forgot they were feuding.
All it was Orton just kind of attacked Jericho, in the trainer's room to set up this match. It is clear cut. Jericho has announced it himself. This is it. This is his last match. He's going out on tour. So he's not going to be around for a while. That would lead me to believe Orton would win, and that should just be the end of it. That is my prediction. However, things could be weird, because Orton's in a weird spot right now. Orton's kind of just floating out there, and he's not the top heel anymore. He's not even in that territory because it looks like other people are there. So I could see Jericho winning just to put an additional spin on Orton's kind of floating in nowhere land here.
I don't. I think that his floating in nowhere land is probably about to get anchored here soon, and I think a loss to Jericho would be very detrimental to Orton at this point. With Jericho leaving, that's my main reason for saying that Orton's going to go over him cleanly here.
Yeah, and I hate to say, I hate to be wishy-washy here, but I do think Orton's going to win. I'm just saying,
I'm with you.
Think that it's possible it could go a different way.
Well, if you want to talk about wishy-washy, the next match that we have listed, I also feel could go either way. Henry and Rusev. I don't know. I had my pen on this one for so long. I'm going to regret this. I have Mark Henry listed.
As do I. I'm picking Mark Henry, and here's why. And it all kind of I know Monday night why they did what they did as far as the halftime stuff, trying to draw those fans for Monday Night Football. So thus you have the main event segment, in the middle, and then you have a segment that would normally not be reserved for main event for Henry and Rusev as the last segment on the show. But at the same time, I think that also shows the confidence they have in these two individuals. And I think both of them are about to split off into different feuds. Now, I think Henry wins. It does not hurt Rusev to have his first real loss. It helps Henry a lot, and Henry could be the next person, not necessarily on the next pay-per-view, but he will be the next person in line to face Brock Lesnar because, if you think about it, Mark Henry never got his revenge for getting his butt whipped by Brock Lesnar months ago.
You've been saying this for a little while, and I don't think it's a bad idea. I could get behind a feud like that. I'm talking about Lesnar and Henry, and I also think that it could be good for both of them. I think that Brock's going to need some things to hold him over until Royal Rumble time, and Henry could be a good guy to step in there and do that. It would definitely be visually appealing to have those two beast-like characters in the ring.
And as I've also been saying, I think Rusev is setting up for other things too, and that would be Brock Lesnar's opponent,
John Cena. Okay.
So I think that's what we're going towards.
I have it as Mark Henry, but I have no confidence in that answer.
Yes.
What do you think about the tag team title match? The Usos versus Goldust and Stardust.
I think they've handled the heel turn with Gold and Stardust well, but I don't think they're going to win the titles, only because every pay-per-view I say it's time for the Usos to lose, and they don't.
I know, I'm tired of saying that.
So I'm going to say the Usos take this victory.
I also have the Usos. When you talk about them doing a good job turning Goldust and Stardust, I'm still waiting for some reason to like Stardust besides the fact that he's weird and painted gold. I still want a character there. Goldust was a character, and I feel like Stardust is a character's brother. And I want him to be his own character here.
Right.
I'm okay with the character, just needs to do something for me. And I've been saying it since his promo started, since he started painting himself gold. I'm okay with the weird, eclectic, not always grounded in reality stuff, but there's got to be some sort of backbone to the character, and there's not.
And I think you have, they've already shown how great a ratings they can draw with NXT guys that are coming up at this point. I think they should feature them on the show all the time, to be honest with you. But I think the Ascension, who has made a couple appearances on Main Event, I think are getting ready for the main roster, and I think those will eventually be the guys that take those titles for the Usos.
I think so too.
Triple Threat Divas title match. Paige, AJ Lee, and Nikki Bella. Actually, this was one I had the most difficulty with, but I think I've figured it out.
Okay, but you tell me.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Originally, I thought this was going to be a fatal four-way because, you would want to have Brie in there. But now Brie's not in this match. So, you're going to have Brie involved somehow. So, this is the finish I came up with. Now, I may be smarter, and I know I probably am smarter than most of the WWE writers. Hey, I'm just saying. Just hire me. What if we have Twin Magic differently than we've had it in the past, and Brie pulls Nikki out of the ring and lays down for Paige to retain the title?
That would be awesome.
I think that would be amazing.
But I don't see it happening. That would be so cool. And then she just kind of holds on to the title and doesn't give it back until she gets beaten.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, that is better than anything that's going to happen on Sunday, I think. I have this as a very...
No, I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that she comes in and beats Paige. I'm saying that Brie comes in and lays down for Paige and costs Nikki that title.
See, I'm seeing like AJ and Nikki are down, and then like Brie comes in and takes Nikki's spot, and then winds up pinning somebody to win the title.
No, I'm thinking it's the other way around. She comes in and lays down, and they and Paige keeps the title. And, now Nikki and Brie have even more reason to feud. I think it's too easy to just give it to Nikki and then move the title over to their feud. So.
I feel like it's going to be a Paige retention, and somehow, some way, the Nikki Brie feud will be the prevailing factor. Sure. Will be what everyone remembers from that match. Sheamus and Cesaro didn't even know they were fighting. I don't care.
That's an odd match. Yeah, there's not really much there. But I'm predicting a title switch. I think there needs to be one, and I think this will be the one on the card.
I feel like there does need to be one, and if there's going to be one, it'll probably be this. I'd love to see Cesaro win, but Sheamus always retains. I don't know. I don't see Cesaro winning. I guess.
All right.
I have Sheamus.
Okay, cool. Intercontinental title, Dolph Ziggler and The Miz.
I have Ziggler.
Ziggler, I have Ziggler as well.
This feud's going places though. It's doing.
I think it is. I wish the R-Truth thing was kind of a one-off because it was funny, but it's now the Sandow thing. I'm cool with keeping that.
I have one problem with the Sandow thing. The one thing that bothers me about Sandow's stuff is I wish they wouldn't have changed his name to Mizdow.
Yeah, that's true.
I just wish he was Damian Sandow, Miz's stunt double.
Right, exactly.
That's what I wish it would have been.
Yeah,
Overkill.
R Ziggler.
Well, when you have Mizdow, you kind of have to do it. I get that, but I don't know. That bothered me.
Yeah, I agree. I still think The Miz is in line for a feud with Batista, and I think Batista will be back soon. And I think that this whole Hollywood thing is just too perfect not to have that feud, even if it's a short one, which it probably will be.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's how I see that. So, and we get to the world title match, and I said the Divas match was difficult, but this one is too.
Not for me.
For many reasons, because Brock was so dominant last time. I still can't see Cena winning, but here they gave. I like how they gave Cena hope by letting him get one shot in on Lesnar, and all of a sudden Cena could win.
Yeah, here we go.
Cena could win.
That thing at SummerSlam never happened.
I don't know about that, but coming up next, the next pay-per-view is Hell in a Cell. Now, if you look at all of these feuds, except for maybe Reigns, Rollins, Ambrose, that kind of trio that's going on, what other feud would be suited to go into a Hell in a Cell? None, except for maybe that Shield.
Okay.
So, you're not going to have a new title match go into Hell in a Cell. You're not going to have like a Henry and Brock Lesnar with no build just go into Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
So, I feel like, unfortunately, we're going to have to see another match with Cena and Lesnar. So, I think we're going to have to see Brock win by DQ.
I have a DQ ending. I don't really. I think it's one of those things where you don't even really know who wins. It's kind of like, you know what? I think that John Cena is going to be more interested in not looking like a coward than winning the title. So if it takes a chair, it takes a chair.
And he said over and over again, I'm not coming to beat Brock Lesnar.
I'm coming to beat his ass. Right.
So here's my other opportunity, and this is why I think it's more suited for the first match the more I think about it. But if Cena wins by DQ and just continually, whether it's with the stairs or a chair or something, just beats the crap out of Brock Lesnar, which we haven't seen very often, but doesn't win the title, might be finally a good time for the chicken Seth Rollins to come out and try to cash in his Money in the Bank and further that angle with Dean Ambrose stopping him. But if you had a match with Lesnar and Cena, is that the way you want to end your pay-per-view with Ambrose and Rollins? It's that's the tough part with me. It makes sense,
it could happen,
but you don't want to end the pay-per-view that way. So that's why the more I think about it, I think Ambrose comes in the Rollins.
It could certainly happen, but you call those Money in the Bank cash-ins every pay-per-view. They happen maybe once a year.
Right.
This could be the time. I don't know. I do think John Cena winds up looking strong in a DQ victory, or sorry, I guess a DQ loss to Lesnar.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. Hey, we want your predictions.
Sure, let us know.
We want them before Sunday.
Night of Champions coming up Sunday. Let us know what you think. Are we way off base? Do you think you've got the answer? Just please let us know. You can tweet us at the eTalent on Twitter.
You can send us an email, and of course, make sure you like our YouTube channels because you'll get these before everybody else will.
Yeah, subscribe, and you'll see them right away. Thank you so much for joining us with the Enhancement Talent.